The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. News-ish is one part news and one part ish.
This is what I use. I don't use my brain, I use my mouth.
It's right there in the title. It's The Wally Show.
Back in 2008, there was an astrophysicist named Jason, just astrophysicist Jason. Instead of studying all of the crazy things in the universe, he decided to put his talents towards how to make boarding an airplane more efficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is needed.
Absolutely, it's needed. It turns out that the most efficient, highly organized way is boarding everyone sitting in odd-numbered window seats first. So odd-numbered first, window seats first, okay? Then followed by even-numbered window seats next. And then you go to odd-numbered middle seat, even middle seat, odd aisle, even aisle, okay? So he discovered this. It's called the Stefan method because that was his last name. He discovered this 15 years ago, and not a single airline introduced it. No one. They're still not doing it today. Well, that's about to change because, or kind of. United Airlines is playing around with a new boarding system, and so flyers who opt for window seats, your boarding zone will be prioritized sooner than it would normally.
Oh,
Yeah.
So they are really doing it.
Yeah, they are. So it starts October 26th, but it's only right now kind of extended to the window seat. They're going to change the boarding process. And who knows, other airlines, when one airline was like, hey, we're charging for bags now, they're like, yeah, let's do that too. And they all but Southwest started doing that nonsense. It's called the Wilma boarding system. What? They tested it. Yeah.
Wilma?
What about Stefan?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. They didn't give him credit. They came up with it on their own. What I don't understand is the acronym doesn't make sense. Wilma, W-I-L-M-A. Window makes sense, like W-I window, because you go window, middle, aisle. The A makes sense, aisle, at the end. It's the LM in the middle. I'm assuming it stands for loser middle. Like, that's all I can figure is what that stands for. They say it's not going to affect the pre-boarding groups, like all those premium cabins, first class, and all that stuff.
Course, yeah.
You have a credit card and you get, updated boarding and stuff. So everything after, like group 3 and beyond, the poor people is going to do this.
The peasants.
Yeah, and then group 5, or group 6 rather, you're still on your own. Like basic economy. If you do basic economy with United, it's like we don't even care if you're on here, honestly, or if you're sitting on the floor. So there you go. But it might be interesting to see if it actually works more efficiently. They say it could save as much as 2 minutes. Yeah, I know. There's the rub, man. Right now, the airline is doing what every person in the back of the plane thinks they can do. When the plane lands, ding, and they think they can make it up to the front, and they get about a row and a half, and they're stopped. You know, so we'll see how it shakes out. But if it works and it works better, that would be a great thing for all of us. Uplifting WayFM, this is The Wally Show, and technology is great. It helps us advance, and it does things for us, makes life easier, but can also be one of the most frustrating things that we also possess. And so you need full IT departments and companies now just to keep you up and running.
Yeah, I need them, sadly, for when I forget my password.
I know.
But there's a lot of people that, you have that IT department at your workplace, and I found this article that claims most of us are very slow to contact their ID department, mainly just because we're a bit embarrassed on why we need to contact them.
Sure.
Like, for instance, the last time I had to contact them was because I forgot my password. At my age and how many times I have had to put in that password and just to forget it.
Yeah. And you could write it down somewhere, put it in your shoe or something.
I'll lose that too.
I know, yeah.
But I mean, we wait until it is absolutely necessary before we will contact the IT department.
Oh, yeah. Because it can be kind of frustrating too. I still have an issue that I haven't had resolved on my computer for over a year.
Why? They could help you.
They've tried. Even they can't figure it out. And so I'm like, I just gave up. Eventually, I just gave up. I just lost my will to live with it. And,
wow.
Yeah, and that's
a little
where I'm
dramatic,
at.
but yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes we end up destroying our technology by accident. We had a guy that worked here who was visually impaired, and his seeing eye dog walked him into a swimming pool while he was holding his laptop.
Oh my goodness.
That was not a good dog.
No, I don't think his dog liked him, honestly. And so that was one. I bumped a monitor in here with my ring, and the things, they're not as sturdy as they used to be. It shattered it.
Sure.
They don't make them like they used to.
They do not, and I felt bad. Like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of my fault a little bit. So like, I'll pay for it. So I wrote the ministry a donation to pay
for shattering a computer monitor.
Yeah, so there you go.
Because you bumped into it.
Bumped into it with my ring finger fist.
Those things will happen.
Interesting.
855-33-WAY-FM. Sorry. 855-33-WAY-FM. So how have you destroyed your tech? Beyond repair, even for your IT department. Did you accidentally do it? Did you do it on purpose? Did you have a ring accidentally at your computer? I don't know. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. We'd love to hear your story right now. Have you ever broken your tech, and how?
Okay, so my first internship, my father got me a job working at a really small mom and pop kind of plastic corrugated plant, and they were training me on the CNC machine, and I broke the drill bit 3 times in one day.
Oh, wow. A CNC machine is really cool. It cuts out things, and it can cut out metal, wood, all these different things.
But it sounds expensive. So for you to break the drill bit 3 times, I'm sure that got you in trouble, right?
Oh, well, I felt horrible because that was my dad's friend. It was my first kind of big girl job.
Yeah.
So I told him to take it out of my first check. So my first check was $0.
Oh, wow. Those are some expensive bits. They actually took it out of your check?
Oh, yeah. I felt so bad.
I get that. Yeah, like I accidentally broke a monitor here in the studio. My ring that's attached to my fist hit it, and it bumped it and it shattered it, and I felt bad too. And I didn't want to, have the ministry suffer for that, for my mistake. And so I made a donation to cover it. So
the worst part about it was that it was my dad's buddy, so I felt so bad.
Yeah, I get it. I felt bad too. A little better after, but I felt bad.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, have you ever broken something, accidentally that was technological?
I have. I was in elementary school, and those old school projectors.
Oh, yeah, they would get really hot, too, and the bulbs were super sensitive. Like, if you bump them, it would break a bulb.
Yes. Well, the cord was very short on this one, and the teacher had the projector pulled out as far as it could go. And I'm not sure what I was doing walking around it, but I tripped over the cord, and the projector tumbled off the stand and broke, shattered glass everywhere.
Now, when you're a kid, how old do you think you were?
I think I was 5th grade.
Okay, so in 5th grade, you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And then you're like, am I going to have to pay for that? Or are my parents going to have to pay for that? What'd your teacher say?
Well, she was a first-year teacher, so every time something like that happened, she was just beside herself about things because she was still learning herself how to be a teacher. But, she reassured me that it was okay, but
they held you back a grade just to offset the cost. So have you ever broken something of yours?
Yes, I have shattered my laptop.
Okay, now how did you do that? And I get it. It happens. You drop them. Mine fell from a bathroom stall in an airport one time in my backpack and dented it, and the screen was wonky after that.
So I have a bit of OCD. My laptop is touchscreen, of course, and I have this thing where I don't like fingerprints all over my screen.
That's kind of a problem with a touchscreen, right?
Yes.
You might want to go back to a mouse.
I might need to. So, unfortunately, this last time I cleaned it, I pressed a little too hard trying to get some grease off the corner of the laptop, and I shattered it.
And when it happens, you're like, it instantly. You're like, oh, and you want to just take it back. You're like, why did I push so hard? Why do fingerprints bother me? Yeah.
Yes.
So were you able to get it replaced, or did you have to get a new one, or are you just living with the cracked screen, which is probably really jacking with your OCD?
So, yes, I'm just living with a cracked screen, and I'm still able to use it, but not in that little corner where it's shattered.
I got you.
So
I
can touch everywhere but that little corner. It won't go past that little corner.
Well, Nikki, I appreciate you being on the show with us today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, Matt, you're up. How have you destroyed your technology?
We actually made our daughter destroy hers. She abused the use of her phone, so we handed her a hammer and said, destroy it. You don't get to use it. You abuse the use of it. You don't get a new one until your contract comes up.
Wow.
It was about a year and 2 months later.
Oh, wow. And that cost you something because you probably paid for the phone, right?
Yeah.
That's one of those things as a parent, you're like, we're making a real good point here. You're going to learn this lesson. And she's just probably giggling. She's like, I didn't pay for that phone.
It's easy to let the fear of the unknown keep us from doing something that is good for us. But going back to school might not be quite what you think.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears going back to school was I'd have to watch a ton of online lectures, and I kind of have a problem staying awake during stuff like that. But it was so different than I had imagined and way better.
Yeah, for sure. I thought I was going to have to take a bunch of tests, which I am not a fan of. But instead, I was able to write papers, which for me was way better.
Plus, you have the flexibility to work in school around your work and life schedule. Another big fear I had is, what if I don't understand something? What do I do?
Yeah, CCU, they foster community with your classmates, and they are a great resource. And Colorado Christian University has very responsive online professors who are there to help you so you are never alone as an online student at CCU.
Learn more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart.
She's the smartest girl on the show.
I have a question.
It's News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
With the way prices are going up on everything, most of us are looking for those small ways to save a few bucks. And I found an article that listed a few ways that I think are super helpful. We'll see if they can be helpful for you. The first tip is if you're on the list to receive emails from your favorite stores on sales that they're having, I am on Bath & Body Works' email list, I know. Either unsubscribe from those emails or delete them immediately when you see them pop up, because chances are it's rarely a sale on an item that you actually need.
That's a really good idea to limit the exposure, because TikTok gets me all the time. Like their stuff is perfect for me, and I'm just scrolling through and I have to be like, I have to scroll by it really fast, and then I come back to it. I'm like, well, maybe, and it gets me.
Yep. Another tip is when there's something you want on Amazon, add it to your wish list instead of your cart.
Oh.
You keep the item there for 48 hours, and if by then you still want it, go ahead and get it. But this will kind of keep you from doing those impulse buys.
That is a really good idea. My wife, it's so funny, like she thinks I have an Amazon problem, which I don't. I can stop.
You have a TikTok problem and an Amazon problem?
Yeah, I can stop anytime I want. Okay, and so, no, but like, that is the thing, like, because she will labor over something, but there are certain things I'm like, okay, I'll just buy this. Like, I don't think about it, and that probably would be a good idea, is to put it in the cart and marinate on it.
In the wish list.
In the wish list, yeah, not in the cart.
Not in the cart.
That's what I do. I put it in the cart. Yeah,
no, don't put it in the
wish
cart.
list.
That's
good
the
idea.
wish list. Yep.
Yeah.
And then finally, I love this one. Sell stuff you don't use. You can list one thing a month on Facebook Marketplace, and while this won't save you money, it does add extra cash into your pocket. And I've been doing this for almost a year now, and I've been keeping a running list.
Oh, how you doing?
On how much money I've made.
She sells puzzles. She sells pen caps.
So I think this has almost been about a year. I have sold $974 worth of stuff.
And she's doing it $5 at a time.
Yes.
too.
Oh, yeah. It's small items.
Yeah.
It's not big items, but it adds up to almost $1,000.
And she's also a broker where I want to sell things, but I don't want to deal with people. And so I give them to Betty, and we have a 70-30 split.
Yeah.
So I get 30%.
80-20.
That's 70-30.
80-20.
She has 2 chairs right now that you haven't posted, the theater chairs that I have.
But I got to get on that.
The old school. You should probably get like $100 for those.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. At least try that, because I want 30. So
wait a minute. No, it's 80-20.
No, it's 70-30. Yeah. So if you have friends, it's another good tip though. If you have friends that don't want to sell stuff because they don't want the hassle, sell for them and then just take. Yeah,
because some of us enjoy doing it, and I do. I enjoy selling stuff.
We're gonna talk about this later on the show today, but I sold my motorcycle on Facebook Marketplace yesterday, and it was such a good experience. But Betty Rock will have an issue with how good I was to the buyer.
You got walked all over.
All right, so we'll do that later in the show. That's going to do it for your News-ish. Thank you, Lady Rock. Uplift Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. And as parents, we kind of want to be cool parents. Most of us do. Like, I want to be that parent that my kid isn't embarrassed of horrifically.
Well, it's sweet that you tried to aim for that.
It was a good shot. Yeah, I gave it my best.
A for effort.
But then again, no matter how hard you try, on some level, your kids are never going to think you're cool about certain things. But here's what I want to do. That's easy. We understand that. But here's what I want to do. We're going to do Are You Kidding Me right now?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me right now?
Now, this is where we just talk to kids, and I love doing this on the show because I love kids' honesty and what they have to say. And kids, you can weigh in now. If you need to get your parents' permission to call, please make sure that you do that. But I want to talk about what makes your parent a cool parent, okay? Because, again, it's easy to complain about your parents. It's easy to complain about everything in life. But sometimes it's harder to find that cool thing. And trust me, your parents need to hear this from you. As a dad myself, anytime my daughter gave me any sort of validation that I was doing a good job or that she liked me when she was a teenager was fantastic. Yeah, I know. It's rough. You guys don't know yet. You don't have kids, but there's some moments. And so this is Are You Kidding Me? What is it that makes your parent a cool parent? And trust me, if they hear this, you might get an extra dessert tonight. So, yup, it's an investment in your future. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number.
Maybe it's something unique that your mom does, or it's something unique that your dad did.
Yeah,
whatever
something fun.
it is. Yeah, like that you think, this is something I can brag about to my friends at school. Be like, my mom or my dad does this.
My sister used to do a yes day with her kids before it became a movie and before it became like this real trendy thing where everything was a yes that day within reason.
Yeah.
And they never knew it was coming and didn't even really talk about it, but she just didn't say no to a bunch of stuff. And it was a fun thing and it made her a cool parent to her kids. So what's yours? 855-33-WAY-FM. Again, get your parents' permission. Only kids on this, okay? 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. What is it that makes your parents cool, Layla?
My mom will stay up with me and we'll watch movies together.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have like any favorite one that you guys always love?
Yeah, we love to watch The Sound of Music.
Oh, that is a good one.
That is a good one. What's the latest you've stayed up to watch a movie?
Oh, like 2 in the morning.
Wow.
2 or 3.
Did you have to keep waking your mom up? Because we nod off as parents sometimes.
Yes.
That is really cool, Layla. My dad and I, we used to stay up for a long time and we would watch fun movies and stuff. But I look back on that now and there's a lot of fun memories with it. So I think that's really cool, Layla, that your mom does that with you.
I do too.
Well, that's something you'll always remember. And Layla, hopefully you'll always remember being on the Wally Show because we love you. You rule.
Oh, you're coming across really
Thank
desperate.
you.
I just want Layla to like me too.
Oh, that's a little desperate.
Okay. All right, that's fair. So, Terry kids, what makes your mom cool?
She's a teacher at our school.
Now, why do you think this is so cool that she's a teacher at your school?
Because you can see her in the hallways and she gives us snacks.
That is great.
Does she give the other kids snacks?
No.
Oh, so y'all are the favorites.
Yeah, I get it. My mom
Nice.
used to work at my school too, but she did announcements and things like that, and it was always the worst because she used to have to call my name to go to the principal's office, and so I could never get away with anything. Yeah, always right. Well, Terry kids, thanks for being on the show with us today.
Well, you're welcome. Bye.
All right, Elijah, you're up. What is it that makes your parents cool?
My dad is an FBI agent.
Oh,
Whoa.
yes. You have to rule when it comes to career day and bringing your dad in.
I know, it's crazy.
Does he tell you the things that he does at work, or is it kind of like, I can't tell you these things, they are top secret?
Some of it is, other things not really.
Okay, so what's the coolest thing about having a dad as an FBI agent?
Sometimes he takes me to the range and we'll go.
Nice.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I bet you don't have a problem with bullies.
No.
There's another perk of having an FBI dad.
And now for some good news.
Uplifting Way FM. This here's the Wally Show. A little good news. Giddy up. It's a roundup of some good news stories because the regular news is a bit of a bummer. I'm going to start things off today. We know that we love our animals, but a new poll found that Americans would rather inherit a pet from a loved one instead of their car.
Oh, okay.
Now, Gavin inherited a pet from a loved one, right?
I did, and it was they were moving. They needed to get rid of Ellie, and she is the reason I now like dogs. So I am grateful for that.
Okay, so that one worked out well. Property is the number one thing we want to inherit. The pet is number 2. Cash was number 3. I would flip that in a heartbeat. But that's just
Cash
me.
every day.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? That's good news for our pets anyway. Gavin, good news, giddy up, go.
There's a man in South Carolina needed a new kidney. He was on the transplant list for a year when he found out that his cousin was actually a match. He didn't even know that she had been tested. She did it on her own accord.
Wow.
So.
Oh, that's kind of cool. And so she's going to give him a kidney, or
Yep.
is she just mean?
Oh,
I'm a match.
That would be
sorry.
terrible.
Good news,
No,
giddy up.
She's giving him the kidney.
Okay, good. Betty Rock, good news, giddy up, go.
This one is precious. A woman named Robin, she's 67 years old. She went to her doctor because she was dealing with depression. And it was because they found out it was because her 15-year-old cat had passed away recently.
Oh.
And so her doctor was like, listen, I think it's time for you to get another one. So he actually wrote on a piece of paper, get another cat as her
A prescription?
Yes.
Nice.
And so on her way home from her appointment, she stops to buy corn at a roadside stand. And it just happens that those people are looking to adopt 5 kittens that their cat just had. Well, she ends up deciding to adopt the one that was missing a paw.
Oh.
It only has 3 legs.
Wow.
Yes. And so she named it after her doctor. So her doctor's name is Earl King. She named her kitten Earlene.
Oh, Earlene. That's actually
Isn't
really
that
good.
cute?
Yeah, that is really good. Well, there you go. That actually made me feel better. And that's why we do good news, giddy up.
If you can't find Gavin, he's probably writing his story
Even though I don't really need to do a week,
in the bathroom.
I'm going to do one anyway.
It's News-ish with Gavin.
Nowadays, it feels like companies and especially restaurants are tacking on extra fees for just about any and everything. For example, people in Pittsburgh are currently flabbergasted that there is a 10-cent bag fee that is starting to show up on the receipts, even at McDonald's. And by the way, McDonald's not hurting for money these days. And so I'm decided to do a little bit of digging into this.
Thank you.
It's a lot more complicated than it should be over like a 10-cent fee. So there are no single plastic bag uses at stores in Pittsburgh. And
Okay, so that's been a citywide
it's a city
mandate.
ordinance.
Okay, and so you can't use plastic bags anymore because they're destroying the environment, apparently.
Yes.
And so we're going to go to paper. Well, they were buying plastic bags before, so they're buying paper too.
Yeah, this is so confusing because people in Pittsburgh say they can't understand why it's happening at McDonald's because they've always used paper bags, not plastic bags. So it's always been tied to that whole plastic's killing the turtles in the ocean, all this not and stop stuff. So they think that McDonald's is taking advantage of this by adding the rule, but McDonald's says they have no choice. The new Pittsburgh ordinance is requiring them to charge customers 10 cents for each paper bag, and they don't have that fee outside of the city. So if you get outside of the county limits, they don't have it. It's just the
Here's
city
what's
itself.
happening. They're doing that, and they're requiring the company to charge them so that people will use reusable bags, and they won't even use paper bags. And it's only 10 cents. So, you wouldn't even notice it, but it's the principle of it. You're being forced to buy this bag that they're giving you, and the company could just absorb the cost of it, easily, but I don't think the city probably makes them charge it to the people so that it changes behavior.
Yeah, and again, this gets so interesting because they say that there are exceptions for the rule, and we're tackling the McDonald's situation.
Right.
So apparently, if you have open food, like open fries or a muffin, you get the bag for free. You don't actually have to pay for the bag fee at that point. So I don't know why everyone wouldn't just order
fries.
Order a small fry, and you're never going to have to worry about them handing individual burgers out to you.
Because everybody's a winner at that point. You still get extra fries, and you save the 10 cents, but let's focus on what's important, not the environment. You got extra fries. So win-win.
You know that the extra fries are going to cost you an extra $3.
Don't care. It's a principle, and you're missing the point. Extra fries. So she doesn't get it. Thank you, Gavin. That's going to do it for your News-ish. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wallace Show. We have a chance for you to win a prize here. We are going to do Who on the Show, and all you have to do is tell us when a question is read who you think on the show is most likely to do that. If you've listened for any length of time or you just really got us dialed in, this game should be no problem for you. Here's an example round. We each will write down our guesses, and majority wins on this, okay? So, who is most likely to wait in a 3-hour line for something they love? Who is most likely? And this is a tough one, mentally. Well, not for me, but for the other people. This is a tough one. Okay, I got my answer down. You guys got your answer down and why?
Yeah.
Okay. I went Gavin because I could see him waiting in line for something Lord of the Rings or something like Harry Potter or something like that. I could see him calling in sick and doing that. But then Betty Rock has also spent the night overnight for Chick-fil-A, but I think that's the only thing you would do, right?
Well, I actually wrote down Gavin too because I think he has the least, or he's able to hide his anger better than anyone on this show. And so I think that he would tolerate the
inconvenience.
Yes, because and especially too, I think he would even wait in line for 3 hours for something he didn't even want because his wife told him to, or you told him to. Whereas I, on the other hand, would be like, no,
exactly.
you can do it yourself.
And I wouldn't wait in line for 3 minutes for most things because I'm super impatient. Gavin, who did you say?
Well, I put Betty because you're the only person I know who's gone and waited in line. And I know that was Chick-fil-A.
But you don't think you would?
No. If
really?
It's okay, so if it's like standing in line, and I know that like for some people you like can sit on the ground and all that.
Sure.
I hate just being in one place doing absolutely nothing.
Interesting.
My phone's gonna die. My feet are gonna hurt. My bum's gonna get sore if I'm on the ground.
Wow.
I am not waiting for stuff.
All
right. Well, Betty and I both said Gavin, so majority would rule. So if you had yourself said Gavin, then you would get that point right, and you get 2 out of 3 right, you win a prize. So, all right, that's how we play. We got a couple questions for you. If you'd like to play with us for a prize right now, 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM, and we'll do Who on the Show right now. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Sandy, welcome to Who on the Show, where you're going to get a question. We're going to write down our answers, and you're going to guess who on the show is most likely to blank whatever that question was. Majority will be the answer, and if you happen to agree with the majority 2 out of 3 times, you will get a prize. How long have you listened to the Wally Show?
I think 5 years.
Okay, well, you should have a pretty good idea of us. We're not that deep or complicated. You can get it in 5 minutes. So, all right, here we go. Question number 1. Who are we going to say peaked in high school? Who peaked in high school? So let's get our answers down before you answer. We're all going to write ours down. Who do you think peaked in high school? Who on the show?
Wally.
Me? I have a show named after me, lady. And I didn't have that in high school, but whatever. Okay, so I did not say Wally. I said Gavin, because he always talks about playing soccer in high school, and that's his claim to fame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I said Gavin, and because he hasn't done anything really mobile or active since then. Betty Rock, who did you say?
Can I change my answer? Because you brought up a great point.
I know you can't. What did you say?
Well, I put you, Wally.
Oh, you did? Wait, why?
Well, because I feel like you try really hard to prove yourself outside of high school.
Okay.
I feel like in high school you probably didn't have to prove yourself as much, and now you're like desperate for everyone's acceptance.
Well, you put me down, so there you go. Gavin?
I went by your same logic. I wrote myself down because I just miss my soccer body at this point.
See? Exactly. All right, so no point there because the majority was Gavin. All right, you're still in this, though. Who is way down to go to Chuck E. Cheese? Like on a whim, hey, guys, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese. Who do you think would really, really, really enjoy that? Who on the show? All right, let's get our answers down. All right, what do you say?
Honestly, I'm going to say you again.
All right, Betty Rock, who did you say?
I said Wally for sure. Because you are a child at heart, and I think Gavin has too much of a tender tummy and acid reflux. He couldn't handle the grease on the pizza, and I just want to go home.
Gavin, who did you say?
I wrote you because you're the least afraid of germs in this room.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all Chuck E. Cheese is to me. It's just germs.
Yeah, and I said me too because I love the games and the tickets. I can't get enough. I don't care for the pizza, but yeah, well, see, you got that one right. Nicely done. All right, you're on your final question. Here we go. Who will find a reason to take their shirt off? Well, we know it's not going to be Betty. So this is going to make your job a little easier here. Let's get our answers down. Okay. Who do you say is looking for a reason to somehow take their shirt off? What do you say, Sandy?
I I said Wally again.
Say Wally again. All right. Betty, who did you say?
Wally for sure.
Yeah.
Because I am nervous that he's just going to create an opportunity for him to have to take off his shirt.
Because I know it's something that's funny, because it's not like I have a great body, I don't have six-pack abs, but for the joke, it's funny. I've done it on like Facebook Lives that we've done and shocked everyone.
I know that you think you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think you really know.
And I do it because it's the shock factor of it and it's funny.
It's shocking,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
To where people want to pull their own eyes out of their heads.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I said Betty. No. Gavin, who did you say?
I mean, we see your stomach like once a week.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, you know what? I wrote me down too, and so you figured it out today, Sandy. Nicely done. You're a winner on Who on the Show. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. I took to Facebook Marketplace yesterday to sell something. I posted it. I was selling my motorcycle. I had bought a dirt bike. And I should not have, because
he was going through a midlife crisis.
I think
and he
so.
should have just let the time pass.
I should have, but I didn't. And so I bought it. I went with our engineer, Phil. He took me out a bunch of times.
He hurt himself a bunch of times.
Every time.
You
Yeah.
got
A stick up my nose.
Yeah.
That should have been my sign, but I kept going. Turns out I'm not good at it. And I was actually worried I was going to get hurt because he's really good and he was taking me places that were beyond my skill set. But I'm like dumb enough to be like, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I made the decision. My wife was thrilled. So I put it on Facebook Marketplace and this couple comes to buy it yesterday. So nice. Really nice couple.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the part of the story you're going to really love, though. So the guy comes up, his wife comes up, they get out of the car, and I'm showing him the thing, and he's like, yeah, this is really great. I'm getting my wife a bike. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
So you got a lady bike.
Yeah, because the motorcycle I bought, we'd be out riding, and people go, oh, that's a great bike. My wife's got one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, so they get there, and they're so nice, and they look at everything, and he rides it, and they were great. And I'm like, hey, and by the way, too, I'll throw in the rack for behind the truck, the boots and the pants, because I'm all out. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore, so I don't need these things.
You got taken, sir.
No, they were so nice.
That's the first step in how they take you. They're like, let's be nice, let's be so kind and thoughtful, and really, like egg him on, like make him feel like he's a good guy. But then they take you for all you're worth.
Yeah.
So you start throwing in things, those boots or the rack or whatever you're talking about. I bet that cost a good penny. And you just gave it
but
to them.
I don't need it, and it was like a good
But you
thing
could
to do.
have sold it. You could have said, hey, I'll throw these in for an extra $50 or something.
Yeah, but they were already so nice, and they were going to buy the bike.
That's how they get you. So when they're driving away or riding away, they're like, we played him.
She is so jaded, but she makes money on Facebook Marketplace. She does.
And you give it away.
I do.
You might as well put on there a roll of $100 on the Facebook Marketplace and be like, please take this money from me.
Here is what's going to really send you over the edge and flabbergast you, okay? So the lady hands me the money, and it was all cash, which was thankful. I was glad they did it. And so I sold it for $3,500, okay? All cash, all hundreds. She hands it to me. I fold it in half, put it in my pocket. Don't even count it.
You don't do that! Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious.
You were 55 years old. You sit there and you count
I
every
didn't count
penny.
it because they were so nice.
Oh my gosh.
And my wife.
You should never be on jury duty because you will be there, a complete murderer.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, but he had a nice disposition.
I
Let's
didn't even
just
count
let him
I didn't
go.
want it to seem like I didn't trust them, so I counted it later when they left. And I'm like, well, if they...
You should never be trusted with selling stuff on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
That's
here we
horrible.
go. We're gonna do a little 5 calls it. Okay. I knew Betty would hate the not counting the money.
They could have handed you $10.
They
and you would have been like, I'm sure they just miscalculated.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They could have shorted me, but again, they didn't. They were so nice, and so I don't count the money. I've done that multiple times because I think it looks like I don't trust you, And so 5 calls it. When you sell something, you know, if you're on Facebook Marketplace and you do the meetups and you're actually exchanging cash, do you count the money right then? I might be the only one that doesn't do that, because apparently from Betty's reaction, it's like you should do that.
Well, I've had it done to me. Like, I've bought things off Facebook Marketplace, and I would assume that people look at me and they think I look like a trustworthy person, but they will sit there and they will count the cash to make sure. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them.
Now, when I've bought stuff, I've been like giving someone cash and went, hey, count it to double check me to make sure I have it all there. Like, I'll do that.
But these nice
But it was all there. It was all there. You'll get to meet them later because I forgot to give them.
You are that elderly person that we hear about that gets catfished.
Okay.
You're going to be that person. But they were so nice.
You'll get to meet them later because they're coming by, because I also threw in some chain wax and spark plugs that I had too.
I cannot. You might just hand them money. Just hand it.
So here we go. 5 calls it. Do you count the money when you sell something? And I'm curious if you do it as well, or if I'm the only one that does not count the money. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Betty Rock thinks I'm horrible at Facebook Marketplace because I throw in extra stuff and I want a good experience for the people that are buying things, so I give stuff away. And then when I got the money, I sold my motorcycle recently, and so I got $3,500, which is a good price, but I didn't count the money. I just put the money in my pocket. I didn't want to offend them. They were so nice. So here's the question. Do you count the money when you are selling things like on Facebook Marketplace?
Yes.
Okay, so you do. So does this seem weird to you that I don't?
Yeah, it does, because you want to make sure you get all your money, because they'll say, no, I really did give it to you.
Yes.
So I count it out loud. Like, if I go pay somebody money, I count it out and say here, and I count it out loud to in front of them, and they count it back just to make sure they have the right amount.
I am going to laugh so hard when you find out that this cash is counterfeit. I'm going to be like, oh, but they were so
It's so funny you bring that up. My wife literally goes, are you doing Venmo? I said, no, I want cash. She goes, what if it's counterfeit? You guys think alike. Who hurt both of you?
You!
No, you guys are nuts. Well, Lori, thank you. I appreciate your help. So far, I'm in the minority. We'll see how this goes.
You'll stay in the minority.
Okay, thanks, Lori. All right, Lily, you're up. Do you count the money when you do a transaction with somebody?
Every single time, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Have you ever gotten in a situation where someone said they paid you everything and then they didn't?
Actually, I did, and they shied me $10, and I just looked at them and I said, you're $10 short.
Good for you.
And they paid me.
See, now, if I'm buying something, I will count it out for somebody. I go, here, I want to make sure that we're good, and I'll do that. But if somebody just hands me the money, I'm like, okay, I figure they know they've got it.
Lily, I think what it comes down to is you are secure in who you are as a person, and you don't care what these strangers think of you. Whereas Wally, on the other hand, he wants these complete nice strangers to think he's a good person.
I just want them to have a good experience and feel trusted and valued.
No, you're trying to buy their love.
No, I want them to feel trusted and valued. Well, girl, I appreciate you being on the show with us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Wes, you're up. Do you count the money when you're doing like a Facebook transaction? I don't, and I am totally in the minority right now.
Yes, you are, because Proverbs 27:3 says, know the state of your flocks. You absolutely count it.
Yes.
You think Solomon got rich by just being willy-nilly? No. He counted it.
I figured if they had shorted me, like that would be between them and God. Like, you know, it's like, all right, that's you. You have an ethics problem. But they didn't. So, like, I didn't get shorted.
That's on you, though. If they shorted you, that's on you.
And I'd own it. I would be like, okay.
You are going to be catfish, sir.
I probably would. Yeah, actually, yeah. When you think about it, when you put it that way, I probably would. Well, wow, this is amazing. I don't even think we need to take any other calls because everyone has said, count the money, count the money. But you know what? You've given me something to think about, and I am going to choose goodness, and I'm going to choose trust in a broken, messed up world.
I'm going to remind you of that the next time you have road rage.
Until it hoses me, and then I'm going to become like all of you.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Rock Report with Betty Rock.
The price of everything is going up these days, including our streaming services.
Yeah.
I saw this meme recently that said, quote, Netflix has one more price increase on me, but after that, we're done.
You know what? I get that. They
Yes.
started off at $7 and then they kept raising it, raising it.
Yep,
Yeah.
just by a few dollars. But despite Netflix gaining 8.8 million new subscribers this last quarter after cracking down on password sharing, they still want more of our money. They recently announced that they're raising their prices again. Both the premium and basic plans are going up $3 a month.
And that's what they do. It's $3. It's nominal. It's not that big of a deal,
Yep.
but it adds up when you have 7 streaming services.
Exactly. And so what's their reasoning? Why are they doing this? Well, one spokesperson for Netflix said, quote,
We're greedy.
said, quote, as we deliver more value to our members, we occasionally ask them to pay a bit more.
Yeah, you're going to get to the point where you are not valuable anymore. There's an opportunity cost. There's a trade-off in your value, and you're getting close to it.
I don't know. They're not alone. There's other streaming services asking for more, like Disney Plus, Hulu, YouTube Premium are just a few more of the many raising the price of their services.
Well, Disney Plus is raising theirs because they've lost billions of dollars on their streaming platform. And so many people, they can't make digital pay, but they keep trying, but it's a difficult space. But I think that they do this as part of their business plan, is that they know they've got X amount of years till they're like even. And so they start off at a low price to get you hooked. And then that's what does it. Because I resisted Netflix for the longest time. But then I got it and I've enjoyed it.
But see, that's what happened. They hooked you in, and now they get you hooked on the shows that you can only find there.
Exactly.
And so then they start raising the price, and it's like an addiction.
Yeah, because you used to buy a cable package or a satellite package, and you pretty much got all the channels you wanted and everything you wanted to see. And now with all the streaming services, you don't. You have to piecemeal them and pick and choose for sometimes for one or two shows. And it's the only outlet, and that's how they get you. And we're got. So my daughter will be sad if I cancel my Netflix subscription, because I did the thing with the password crackdown and I added her to our account. And so she's already going to lose Disney Plus. Like, I'm canceling Disney Plus. I'm so mad at them right now. It's not even funny.
You've threatened that for a while.
Yeah,
though.
but no, because we don't watch it. I've only kept it because of her, and but she's 24 now, so you can buy your own
she's 24
subscription.
now.
Yeah, so look for that to happen sometime next year. Next price increase. Mark my words. It's gone.
Sure.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and they say honesty is the best policy. And Betty Rock found this thing from Shania Twain, who I guess is really kind of trying to live that out.
Man, I feel like a woman.
So yeah, she, after a long time of being married, she found herself in a divorce situation, sadly. And so she was getting back there in the dating side of things. And she was asked recently in an interview how it went. Like, what would her advice be to people who are getting back out there? And her advice was just to be honest. That's exactly what she did with her now husband.
I said, listen, I don't even want ever to get married again. If my son doesn't like this, this is over. I think you have to just be very, very honest.
And so she was honest. She told him, like, listen, this is what is bothering me. This is what scares me. This is what I am a little bit withdrawn about. And if you're okay with that, well, then maybe we could date.
That's the thing. Like, honesty can seem cold or cruel, but it's really one of the nicest things you can do for somebody, because then you know exactly where you stand. There's no surprises down the road. We're like, well, why didn't you just tell me? And, because you could be bugging somebody for years and not know it. And it would have been a very simple change. And it's like, oh, I never knew that, And so honesty is one of the kindest things, but it's not easy. So have you ever had to be like really brutally honest with somebody? I know Betty being in the dating pool, that's harder. Like, that's really hard. Like,
but I think it's important too, because you want to set the standards or the expectations so that they're not hurt, so that you're not hurt, and so you got to be honest.
Yeah, and sometimes too, it's like you might meet somebody that's nice and they're great on all these other levels, but there's something that you're like, yeah, that's not it for me. And being honest about it is, I would imagine as a woman, is not always easy to do because you don't want to hurt people. You're not mean.
Well, and you don't want to come across as mean or demanding.
Right. But then it's like, but this is not in the parameters of what I'm looking for. And that's totally fair. You should stand your ground for that. So I'm curious if other people, maybe you found yourself in that place like Shania did, newly dating again after all those years. That would be terrifying, quite honestly. I would die alone because I would be host. And so what is that thing that you found yourself having to be really upfront with somebody before you progressed that relationship or got married? So 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Uplifting WAY-FM. This is The Wally Show, and recently Shania Twain, the singer, kind of found herself in a difficult situation.
Yeah, she was getting back into the dating field, and she realized, hey, I need to be honest with this guy that I'm dating. If we're going to get serious, I want to be honest beforehand.
I said, listen, I don't even want ever to get married again. If my son doesn't like this, this is over. I think you have to just be very, very honest.
And I think that's a good advice to give to people who are getting out there. And with relationships in general, we need to be honest beforehand, especially if we're going to date, especially if things get serious. You want them to know what your baggage is before you get involved. We're having this conversation on our Facebook page, and Tiara, she said, I'm always going to have a cat. Sorry that you are allergic.
Yep, deal with it. You know what you got into.
But that's setting the standard.
Yep.
That's setting the expectation. Like, she will never be without a cat.
Yeah.
So you're just going to have to deal.
And if you know that, you can deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had to somehow build up natural immunity to cats, you know. Between my family and Betty, I've about died a bunch of times with my allergies, but I keep going.
And then Michelle, she shared that she has a sibling that is mentally challenged and deaf. And one day we would need to take care of her.
That's a serious one.
Yes.
But it's a really good one because you marry the family.
Yes.
You know, and that's a big thing to be really open and honest about. And again, it's one of the nicest things because there's nothing wrong with somebody saying, hey, I don't know that I can do that. You know,
Yeah.
like that's fair for them, but they should have that option.
Yes.
And if they say, I love your family, I'm down, I'm going to do anything, you know what you're getting. And that's a good thing versus finding out years later that someone just couldn't handle it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. Those are just a couple examples. If you've got some, maybe you found yourself new to dating again, and you had to be really honest or upfront with people, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. So have you ever had to be like super bluntly honest with someone before you got married?
Absolutely. My husband and I were just talking about this because my friend is interested in somebody and did the whole Facebook, Google, find out about you kind of thing. And my husband and I were joking about it. He goes, did you ever do that to me? I said, no, because our first date, you told me you had already had a kid, a previous relationship. You told me that you were in between jobs. You gave me all the dirty stuff on date one.
Wow.
So I was like, I didn't even have to look up anything because you weren't making yourself out to be somebody that, like, oh, I got to have this guy. He was like, I see how it is. And God changed both our plans that we fell in love.
Yeah, obviously that didn't scare you off. I mean, would you suggest that other people that are getting into the dating field, they be just as brutally honest as your now husband was?
I felt like an overshare. Like the in-between jobs, I might would have held that one back.
Yeah, I'm living in my car, live in my mom's basement.
Well, the funny thing was, because he was in between jobs, he was living in his car at the moment.
Oh
my
man.
gosh.
And I just love that things that were red flags to everybody else, you're like, these are all green lights, man. Uplifting WAY-FM. This is The Wally Show. Gonna do a little scoop with you. Betty Rock is the scoopiest of the scoopers, and she finds things that she's like, hey, I want to share this because I think you can make somebody's life a little bit better, and that's why we do it. So what do you got, Rock?
All right, I think most of us would agree, definitely Wally, whether he wants to admit it or not, that scrolling on our phones can be a bit of an issue. When you look at, if you have an iPhone, and I'm sure this is possible on Android too, it will break down how much time you're spending on your phone within the day, within the week, within the month, within the year.
Can I tell you that I have sat with my phone close to my face for so many hours on TikTok that I lose my distance vision. I'm not making this up. I literally have to take my glasses off. I have to close my eyes for the better part of 10 minutes to get my eyes to refocus. I can't focus on anything past like 20 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you're in the same situation
I got a
as
problem.
Wally. Maybe you're noticing what do they call it when you get like in your
carpal tunnel?
Carpal tunnel when you're holding your phone because you're scrolling so much. So I have the scoop on how to break that cycle.
I like it.
All right. What you need to do is you need to set your phone to black and white mode.
What?
So
I didn't
when
even know
you-
that's a mode.
It is. It's in settings. So when you take your phone and you turn it on black and white, there's something about it that makes it not as enjoyable, and you don't scroll near as often as you do.
Really?
Yes. Now, I see that Gavin has his phone
Yeah.
out. I'm glad you did that. You're an iPhone. It's in accessibility.
Oh,
So go to
interesting.
settings.
Oh,
Yes, settings.
Aren't you colorblind though, Wally?
I am.
Are you in
Yeah.
settings, then accessibility?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, then go to display
Okay.
and
display.
text size. Yep.
Display. Oh, yeah.
And
got
then
it.
color filters.
Oh my goodness, this is so hard.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And
Got it.
then turn the
Whoa.
color filter switch on.
On. Okay.
And grayscale is an option.
Oh, weird.
I don't like.
The problem is I need to undo this right now because if I don't, my screen will get stuck like this and I'll forget how to turn it back off. So great scoop, Rock, but I'm not doing it.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.